Moro.
Parliament has summoned them.
Yeah, it is most unfortunate that we are back to this issue of people within the health sector embarking on industrial action. Life is only one. When you lose it, there's no way you can get it back again. And so it's an essential service. Because there's no replacement for life. When we have embarked on all the strike, the industrial actions and everything, and eventually our demands are met, how are we able to retrieve the lives that are lost? How are we able to bring them back? Now, the issue under consideration is not limited to just one or two people. Any one of us could be a victim of it. It may not be you directly, your brother, your sister, your friend, your relative, including the nurse's relative, could become a victim of this action. And for how long are we going to continue this cycle? Today as we speak, and I'm sure Honorable can attest to that fact, the number of young people who have finished SS who are calling on you, they want to enter into the nursing training college. Everybody is calling. Either send money for the forms or help us to get admission into the colleges, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, when they get in there, the next thing we hear is that, oh, our allowances has been delayed for a very long time, not been paid. Sometimes you hear the strike, you hear the demonstration, you hear this and that. When finally they finish school and they start working, some allowances have not been paid, not necessarily their salaries. So it is enough to lay down tools. You see, rural areas allowance. Who even introduced this compulsory nursing national service thing for nurses that we spoke against? Because in the past, once you finish a nursing college, straight away you are posted to go and work. And you remain on that allowance. When your results come and you have passed, you are migrated into a salary structure. Then they go to a point where government cannot absorb them immediately into the system. The government introduced this elephant they call national service. And they did the national for 1 year. They were not paid. And the story has it that some of them, as far back as 2020, 2021, 2022, 2020, 2024, all these allowances we are talking about. Ghana is on an IMF program. We're going for 2020 elections, 2024 elections. We want to win elections. And so let's meet the labor unions. Let's entice them. Let's promise them heaven on earth. Let's say that we can do everything for them just so they can go and vote for us. Unfortunately, because they are rational human beings, and you have done that in the past, and you never fulfill the promise you made, they decided to go and vote against you. A new government has come into office. We have shown good faith. We have engaged them. We have asked that return to the negotiating table. Let's discuss the issues. Tomorrow, when we're campaigning for 2024 elections, one of the concerns some of us received from well-meaning Ghanaians was the fact that how are you guys going to govern the country when you have won the elections? And you ask them why. But we all know the country is broke to the knee. Everything is gone. How are people going to govern the country? And so when finally we won the elections, and January came, we were able to pay salaries. February came, we paid salaries. I just said, God is with this president, and God is with this government. And the former could say, Jack, our currency that was running all over the place has been stabilized, and it's even gaining weight. Before we could say, Jack, fuel prices were coming down the pump. As people are breathing new air, something good is happening in the economy. This is a government that is very, very key on creating employment for the youth. We are very particular about it. And deliberately we have said we don't want to create just any form of job. We want to get permanent job with dignity. You can work and get proper remuneration. And so come back, let's sit down. Those promises that were made for you to you in 2024, they were election gimmicks. Where we are now, you are demanding almost 2 billion, right? Dollars, right?
No,
Or 2
cedis.
million.
It will cost us 2 billion.
2
cedis,
billion.
According to the deputy
Yeah,
finance
2
minister.
billion.
Yes.
See,
cedis.
according to the deputy minister
Yes,
to do it.
to implement it.
To implement, we are saying that when we are immediately to cover that money, it could create a few problems. So you come, let's sit down, let's find a way out. See, I remember in 2007, right, when the single spine salary structure came, was introduced at 737. We couldn't implement it in 2007, not in 2008. When we were going to elections, the government then made a commitment that we're going to implement in 2009. President Kufuor's administration went ahead to even increase workers' salary across the board by 30% or so. You remember? When Professor Mills won elections, we sat out with labor. They are rational human beings. They are members of our society. And they knew the economy were inheriting. They agreed for the president to defer the implementation to 2010. You remember? Before the single spine salary structure thing was kicked in. Our brothers and sisters who are providing healthcare services, nobody can downplay the work we are doing. In this country, we also agree that government is pretending to be paying people, and workers are pretending to be working. Because our economy simply cannot sustain all that all of us are looking for. Is there enough of us who is comfortable with anything we have or we are getting? No. So everybody is trying to manage. At no point has the minister said, we are not going to yield to your concerns. At no point has the minister said, we are not going to pay. If you were in the shoes of the minister and you visit Kolebu and people are dying right in front of you, people are being turned down in front of you, and you have that human feeling in the spur of the moment, you would imagine that how do we solve the problem in the short term? Can we recall former nurses to come and help? Why? Go and ask your senior, the Honorable Safumafu. I've forgotten. When teachers embark on strike in this country, what did he say then? Didn't say they were going to bring retired teachers to come and assist. In fact, they even went to the extent of doing it. You've forgotten? You see, we politicians sometimes, we are just too funny. Because now you're in opposition, suddenly you have become friends of the nurses. And I've got some of the social platform. Some of the MPP journalists say, yeah, you nurses, you have seen it. If there's anybody, any government in history that has paid attention to the needs of health workers in this country, it is the NDC. It is the NDC. We have been very, very, very particular. And so if there's a problem that we have inherited, we didn't create the problem. So let's sit down, let's find a solution. Why can't co-heads prevail? Why can't we all sit down? Because at the end of the day, if it were the case that, we've not been paid our salaries, we can't work on empty stomach. All of us can, even the government, wherever the money is, cough it. But at least some is coming. Some is in arrears. Some of the allowance we are told as 2 years in arrears, 24 months, 25 months, 26 months. How do you hold a new government 5 months in office to ransom? By your decision. And I ask again, when finally the monies have been paid, those lives that have been lost, how do we recall those lives? How do we get those lives back? All of us will add our voice in admonishing our healthcare practitioners that we can find a solution to this issue without necessarily abandoning the wards and abandoning the vulnerable people. As it's often said, when two elephants fight, who suffers? It's the grass. The people who will suffer most are the very ordinary poor people whose taxes they use in taking care of all of us through school. Whose taxes they have used in putting up hospitals and equip the hospitals for us to go and serve them in return. They are the people who suffer the most. And so we can only appeal to them that go back and work. Let us go back to the negotiating table and find a solution. Where I sit, looking at how essential healthcare provision is in this country. And these recurrent strikes, by the time nurses are over, the pharmacists will follow. By the time they are finished, doctors will follow. By the time, and it becomes so cyclical every now and then. I say every day, you think the police service, they are comfortable? Have you ever been to their barracks? Have you seen their TVs and fridges and everything outside? Mm-hmm. Have you seen the small ghetto where they leave their wives and children? Have you checked their washrooms? Have you checked the drain system around their houses? If the police decide that we are going on a strike for 24 hours, can we live in this country? Don't we see them standing in the scorching sun? Don't we see them in the rain? Trying to maintain where we should be shifting most of our healthcare institutions into the security services. Can we not have fire service to start now managing some of the healthcare institutions?
Right.
Can we not have immigration manage some of the healthcare institutions? Can we not increase the numbers for the police, for the military, and everybody across board?